guys, and welcome back. I am back. Well, not completely yet, but I do have access to a computer. Alrighty, what are we going to do today? My first idea is, well, actually doing my first sophisticated game review. I don't have access to my consoles just yet, but I can use a computer and finally work through hours and hours of pre-recorded footage in connection, of course, with our just released game of today. And the game is Solo Leveling Rise Overdrive. Yes, I know the name is a little bit misleading since there already is a Solo Leveling Rise, which is a mobile gacha game. So from here on forwards, I'll address the action RPG as Overdrive and a mobile gacha game either as, well, just a Rise or a gacha game. And to make it easier for you guys, I will put a sign up top in the corner because they indeed look very similar. So I don't really understand why they didn't drop the Rise in the title, but well, that's all right. And of course, a little heads up, this review is my own opinion, and since taste is pretty much the most subjective thing we have, opinions on movies, music, and well, of course, games might differ from person to person. So if I have an aspect that I really like, it might be very possible that you don't. And guess what? That's totally fine, since this is a democracy. Well, enough politics. For this video, I'll first walk you through what the game actually offers, like story, systems, gameplay, content, and then at the end, I'll give you my personal pros, cons, and my own final recommendation if you would buy it or not. Still your own choice. But yeah, for this review, I had to play through the whole game, and I did because first of all, it's an in-depth review. And secondly, I don't want to talk about half-baked stuff that I haven't personally finished. So I like to, you know, form my own opinion. All right, without further ado, let's begin. What is Overdrive? Well, basically, Solo Leveling Rise Overdrive is an action RPG adaptation of Solo Leveling. It is separate from the existing mobile gacha game, which is, as I mentioned, called Rise. Overdrive is a premium game, while Rise is a free-to-play gacha title. Visually, both games are very similar, which is why I refer to this one as Overdrive, as I already mentioned, and the mobile title as Rise throughout the following video. So let's move on to the story and the scope, well, the source material. Overdrive itself adapts the main Solo Leveling storyline. The campaign itself follows the events of the manhwa and the anime, and it includes side elements like the story around Jinho and his father and tiny tidbits, which I really prefer here. There are also small, originally stories or moments that only appeared either in the manhwa and not in the anime, or in the game only. For example, when the Jinwoo and Jinho actually fight themselves through the 20 gates. So in the manhwa that was just very shortly mentioned, but over here it's a little bit more side stuff you're actually doing. Or for example, when the gang comes back together with Juhi, what is his name? The fire dude with one arm, I just can't remember right now. But yeah, with Kang Tae-shik, that issue in this prisoner gate, there's more in the game that there was actually in the story. Well, but in terms of the source material, the campaign leans more towards the manhwa version of events rather than the changes they made in the anime, so you have a little more core experience here. In terms of scope, the story in Overdrive currently covers 10 chapters. I mean, that's 10 chapters you play in the game, and it goes up to the fight against Baran. Shadow-wise, that means you go up to Kaiser. And after Baran, the story in Overdrive ends, and it stops pretty much right before the Jeju Raid. The ending of the story explicitly teases the Jeju Raid, which strongly suggests that this part of the story will be handled as a DLC content. At this moment, certain characters, such in my case, preferably Go-Gunhee, are not available as playable hunters in Overdrive. Sad, but well, true. So let's move on here to our structure, the dungeons and the progression loop. Structurally, the game works with a hub area. Similar to the Monster Hunter series, you have a central place where you prepare for your dungeons and all the raids. Over here, you can craft new weapons, gear, you can refine materials, you can forge materials, fuse blessing stones, which are already a big thing from the gacha games. Materials come from, for example, plants you can pick, ores you can mine, and of course, the creatures you defeat in the dungeons and the raids. From the very beginning, the progression follows a pretty clear path, which is literally what happened in solo leveling, because you start by fighting relatively weak enemies like hounds, then you work your way up through goblins, then spiders, and you go all the way up against ice elves, high orcs, and so on and so forth. Interestingly, the game even goes a little further than the story would be here, and you already start fighting nagas and stuff. So yeah, pretty tough stuff, pretty powerful. The dungeons themselves tend to be very linear. Most of them are very streamlined paths with clear boundaries, often with, well, invisible, very visible walls controlling where you can go and where you can't go. The noticeable exception to that pattern is red gates. Red gates are structured a little differently. They are more like a playground openly area, of course also with borders, but it is a, you can, yeah, like a playground. You get dropped in there and then go have fun. So about the hunters, I just mentioned that. What kind of playable characters are there? And hunters and shadows, of course. In Overdrive, you have two basic ways to construct your party you play as. Either you can play of Sung Jinu together with 3 additional hunters that accompany you in the raids and in the story. It doesn't matter if they are, well, if they are it's canon they are there or not, they will be there gameplay wise. And later on, of course, you will be accompanied by your shadow army and 3 main shadows you can choose. For example, Igris, Tusk, and Tank, or whatever is your pick. You can form a team with also 3 hunters, but only 3 hunters. You can run content with just these 3 hunters without shadow support. This system is very similar to what you have in the gacha game. And over the course of the whole game, you can recruit, it is 20 hunters as of now, so this could differ. These hunters are, well, more or less basic. Some of them I do totally get why they are in here. Others that are missing I don't really understand, especially because you can see them while in the content. I mean, of course, Goganhi is there, but so is Hansemi in the High Orc, or well, the Karagalgan raid. I don't know why she is here actually fighting, but you can't use her. I hope this will not be a kind of cash grab kind of try to implement her with DLC, but we will have to find out. So you can offer, how do you get hunters? You can offer hunter medals, which work on an RNG based system. After each failure, here your chances increase accordingly to the hunter's sympathy towards you. So there's this, I think this is, I haven't really figured it out, but it seems like there is a, well, random number up front that gives you the sympathy. So for example, if they have this frowny face, if you fail to get them, to convince them to join you, to recruit them, they will only give you 0.5% an increase for your next chance. Or if there's a happy face, you get like 5 or 10%, you know, top. So that's one of the ways. Alternatively, you can use hunter tickets. These you obtain from clearing gates, or well, clearing gates in the world map, or progressing through the campaign. These are very limited, so yeah, choose wisely on this in this way. Compared to the gacha game, Overdrive currently offers a smaller, in total, a smaller hunter roster. However, the hunters present here are largely all canon characters from the story, with the only exception of Mirei, because I can't really remember if I have seen her in the manhwa or in the anime. I'm pretty sure not in the anime, but maybe in the manhwa somewhere, and I just can't find her in the back of my head. But yeah, no collab hunters and no made-up hunters like Seon and stuff, and no I don't even know what this girl band was, but yeah, they are not in there, and I'm really happy about that. On the shadow side, Overdrive only includes the lore accurate shadows so far. So shadows like Baraka which appeared in the non-canon context in the Gacha game, is not present here. Fun fact, if you just summon your shadow army, not the three main shadows, but the army, somehow Baraka is right there, but not as some main shadow that you can level up. Yeah, as I said, Gomganhi is not here, unfortunately, and many other, I'm pretty sure, favorite. Kanai, for example, is not here as well. Kaede, is it Kaede? Akari, that's her name. Akari is not in here too. Goto, not. So a lot of guys still missing here, so I hope, I mean, they are part of the Jeju Raid, so I hope they will be implemented then a little later. So let's talk a little bit more about the mechanics here. So there is Jinho, there's our juice station, gates, and of course the hunter progression. So Jinho here is a central figure in your game unlock progression. By visiting him, you can increase, for example, the amount of gates and bounties you can take at a time to give you a little boost in here. You can improve the rewards you receive from those activities as well. For example, hunter points used to unlock new hunters. The system itself ties pretty much into a loop of running gates and raids, earning materials, medals, tickets, and progression currencies, and of course, with all of that, improving your hunters and pushing more and more into more, higher, more challenging content. So, talking about challenge, about the combat, the difficulty, and the controls. The combat in Overdrive is designed around, you have your basic attacks, you have 2 weapons that you can switch in and out on the go. You have skills and abilities you can match up with your weapons and with the extra slots. I mean, every one weapon has 2 skill slots. Okay, that sounds a little complicated, but it goes really smooth while you're playing it. Then there's a dodge mechanic that is this extreme evade or perfect evade. You already had that in the Gacha game, but over here you also have a parry mechanic, which is really nice. So you have these kind of Souls-like elements in here, and when you are when you get a hand of it, it feels really nice, especially in a little bit more challenging boss fights when you start countering, parrying, dodging the attacks or the hits. It really is a nice smashing strike. I really enjoy that. And of course, you can control your shadow army a little later on when playing as Jinho, which adds, of course, an extra layer of action on top of your already personal attacks. So on controller, the combat itself is very responsive. In contrast, though, navigating menus can be a little bit more, comfortable with mouse and keyboard. There are many moments where I had to go back to just click on it with my mouse, especially. There are interface elements and menu points that are currently not even clickable by controller. In many times, I just had to pick the mouse and then do that with the mouse. So it's, pick your poison, I would say. In terms of difficulty, certain fights I really enjoyed. For example, Igris. It took me multiple attempts to learn the patterns, timing, and I was a little over leveled. And the other one that really smashed me was Asyl. Asyl is nuts. Asyl is noticeably more demanding in Overdrive than in the Gacha game, where in Gacha you just would put it in auto combat and that's done. By the way, that's a function that doesn't exist in Overdrive at all. I mean, it wouldn't make sense. The path leading up to Baran is designed as a continuous challenge without mid-boss checkpoints. That really took me by surprise. But since I had to try Asyl multiple times, I was fairly over-leveled, so that I had a good fight with her. And Baran, I beat him on the first try, so it's alright. So these elements together, they create a pretty nice combat experience that can be very demanding and requires a lot of, not a lot, but some practice and some pattern recognition. It's very rewarding though when you get a hand of it. It's really nice. By the way, regarding builds, since this is still an RPG, Overdrive offers different archetypes, classes for Jinnu, including what I have chosen in the beginning, the ruler style, and in a very, well, I have a very shadow-oriented build because I really like the idea or the feeling that there's this army waltzing towards enemies. You can pretty much interchange this though, so you can pick either skills from any skill tree other than the Overdrive skill. The Overdrive skill is that main skill that every character has a unique one off that kind of supplements their, well, element or playstyle. It's pretty niche, it's pretty nice, and it gave the game its title. Yeah, it's alright. In this review playthrough I mainly used the ruler build, but I'm planning to experiment further with different setups and playstyles, so if you are interested in that, just let me know down in the comments, and as soon as I get some really bonkers builds here, I will of course share that with you guys. So let's talk about game modes, and especially the end game and new game plus or not, whatever it is. Once you finish the main story content up to Baran, Overdrive unlocks additional modes and progression layers. These include firstly the Hunter Archives, which you can just explore short stories and additional lore about each hunter. It's neat. It's not canon. It makes sense though in the canon, so I would, you know, it's just a nice to have. Then there is the time mode you had in the Gacha game that is here as well, with a little extra, because where here you run specific content, of course, under time pressure, and you can compete for the leaderboards. You can do it in solo or, hold on your butts, in co-op as well. So whole new area, whole new different well, approaches you can do this. Pretty nice. The thing is, I think they have a problem with hackers, because there's people who finish the content within 1 or 2 seconds, which is physically not really possible, because the fights I did were multiple stages, so even enemies spawning in would take longer than the 2 seconds. But well, all right, whatever is your, pick your poison, you know, whatever makes you go and be happy about it. So new game plus, there is a new game plus. I was a little surprised by that. I didn't expect it. But there's a catch to it. This is on extreme only, so it allows you to replay the story from the beginning, but your run starts this time at level 60. So in my case, I'm under leveled the whole time, so I really have to sweat through the whole thing. Animal stats and difficulty is increased, but of course you can further optimize your builds and push the combat systems even harder, and I mean you have to. The good thing here is you get, when in standard gates and stuff, you get up to, let's say, 250 XP a level. Over here, every time I hit like 1100, 1500, so you can really put in the extra XP here if you can persist. By the way, the campaign, I have not seen any co-op option here. You have to play the campaign by yourself on your own, so have fun with that. The game mocks you, by the way, if you do lose too often. It will ask you want to go in easy mode, and of course we decline and go even higher. So by the way, talking about co-op, how does co-op work? I mean, there is co-op functionality, and it is structured around its own lobbies. So the players gather together in a lobby, and the host, of course, selects and starts the raid that can be freely chosen here. In these lobbies, you can go to the juice girl and juice yourself up. You can go into the exchange shop, where you can get new, now after the latest update, even weapons, and yeah, can kind of prepare for your, well, raid together. During the co-op, you can assist, of course, newer players on running raids together. You can try and clear higher level content as a team. I don't know if this is a thing for real, but I do get the feeling when you are, for example, everybody's level 50 and you go into a level 40 raid. If I do this solo, I easily one-shot the whole thing, but it kind of feels when you do that on co-op, the whole difficulty will spike up to in a way that you will, yeah, fight the boss for half an hour or even longer. So that is a thing you need to be aware of. At the current state, there are also some technical issues in the co-op. There are bugs in which a player can sometimes only move but cannot perform any other actions during the game. So the only thing you will be able to do is get revived or revive people, but that's it. And you can emote. That's great. But let's say you are in a raid with 4 people. 3 of them get this bug and the 4th one dies. Game over. This is just, it's a little frustrating. There's also a lot of visual bugs, such as bosses that have already been defeated but still appear standing next to the player in your arena. It's quite funny, but I mean, it's a small hiccup. That's all right. The other issues, though, this is kind of game breaking, and they may require restarting activity or go back to the lobby and stuff. And this, of course, does not lighten the mood while playing. So let's get into something a little more technical. So graphics, cutscenes, and animations. Graphically, I like Overdrive a lot. It uses a very stylized 3D look that aligns with the solo leveling aesthetic a lot. Compared to the Gacha game, it seems that the visuals are slightly softer and a little bit more fine-tuned, but hey, I'm not an expert here. But still, with shading effects adjusted for kind of this premium action RPG experience, I don't know. But still, what I really do enjoy here is for storytelling especially. Overdrive combines fully animated cutscenes and the manhwa panels, but with the voices from the anime. So voice acted manhwa panels. It's quite nice that they implemented those in the scenes. Pretty sweet. And so you have this mix between a static image, the stylized manhwa page, and of course animations. I must add though, in some scenes the mouth movements do not either match dialogue or they don't move the mouth at all. And it's not about inner thoughts, it's literal people talking, but the mouth doesn't move. Alright, that's little, takes you out of the game. From the techniques, graphic labs aspect, let's go over to music and sound design. For the soundtrack, Overdrive primarily uses the music from the Gacha game. It's pretty much the same thing. And the game does not adopt the anime soundtrack, which I really regret here, because that soundtrack in many cases is really great. Instead, it relies on this existing compositions that you are used to if you played the mobile title. So there's no specific score here, but still sound effects and combat sounds, especially when you parry at the right moment or you get attacked and stuff, that really pops. It is a good feeling. It's a nice feeling to have. I really enjoy that one. Alright, let's get into something really big, because as you may have noticed, I'm playing mostly older games, because modern games are, well, apparently not made for me. Let's go into the monetization, cosmetics, and the price model. One of the very distinguishing features of Overdrive compared to the Gacha title is the monetization. Currently, as of now, Overdrive does not have any microtransactions. No gacha system, no pay to win mechanic inside of Overdrive itself. The game is purchased once as a full price or, well, mid-price title. You can play without further in-game purchases. It's $40 or 45, I guess, for the deluxe edition if you want some little extras. But there is a ton of cosmetics for Jeju and all the hunters, with costumes, with hairstyles, with face features, so many things you can unlock through gameplay, not buying with real money. And that is, I must say, the biggest plus the whole game has. It is so nice to actually grind for something, to actually, unlock something, and not just open the wallet, put in the credit card, swipe through something, and there you go. I hate that so much. That is at this moment, and I really hope that the developers keep it like that. I'm fine with story DLCs and more additional content, and that way, okay, I would be okay with that if it's not outrageous. But since the base game is $40, I would see this a $5 to $10 thing. I'll be fine. But no microtransactions, and this is great. All right, so I talked quite a bit. Let's go into the evaluation. So pros, cons, and of course my personal verdict. Now that we've gone through what the game does and how it's structured, here's my personal evaluation. What I liked, what I didn't like, and whether or not I do recommend it. So let's start with the cons. First, the story for me is too short and stops right before the Jeju Raid. It is right after Baran, and that's only 10 chapters. You can go up to Kaisel and that's it. The end though, it teases the Jeju Raid, so this will be likely in DLC, but as it stands right now, the story just feels too short. Secondly, the linear streamlined dungeon design with the walls. Unfortunately, the dungeons themselves are very streamlined with visible invisible walls, other than with the only section of the Red Gate that feels quite more open. I would have liked all the dungeons to be like the Red Gate and the Red Gate bigger, but oh well. I would have liked them to be less corridor-like and a little bit more open. So then there is the co-op bugs, including the game-breaking ones. Another negative thing here in the state of the co-op online as of now, so they might fix that in the future. Some bugs are just funny. The other ones are very disturbing to the gameplay, like situations where you can't do anything but move. This is pretty much game breaking. Sometimes it's even the game is getting stuck in the loading screen, so people don't load up to 100% or just drop out while loading. This is hopefully going to be fixed in the future. Then I really don't like the mouth animations. They are either off or completely missing. So either it is, I can't show you right now because I'm not on camera, but when I watch a cutscene, that takes me out of the game. So next one is a music choice. It's mainly from the Gacha OST instead of the anime soundtrack. That is a missed opportunity. If they have, they have the voice actors, they must have the license for that too. I don't know, music business is a whole different thing. But yeah. So next thing is about the hunters. There is unfortunately missing favorite characters, like Goganhi for me. Or I don't know, many others for you guys. I will not. I've shown you the picture. You could see who's in here and who not. And yeah, controller support is there, but it's not fully fledged. It is built as a PC title, and it feels like a PC title. So the whole HUD, the menus, navigating them with the controller feels in parts very awkward and complicated, so I'd rather have it easier and streamlined. So that's the cons. Let's go to the pros. It is a faithful adaptation of Solo Leveling himself. The campaign is very faithful to the manhwa and the anime. Even little tidbits that were only in the manhwa made it into the game. It actually feels literally like you are playing Jeju in Solo Leveling, and I really enjoy that they clearly prefer the manhwa as their main source instead of leaning to the changes the anime did. There is a pretty nice use of side chapters, content that is they cut, for example, cut out of the anime because it's a little too much. I really appreciate that. For example, the side stuff with what was her name? I forgot. The sea hunter, the mage, the wind mage who joined Jinho in the Red Gate incident. Doesn't matter. But there's more with her and the manager who's trying to get Jinwoo to join the White Tiger Guild. It's really nice. So those small touches add a lot of to the game if you are a fan of it. I do enjoy the smooth and interactive combat. The gameplay is very smooth, and thanks to the dodge and carry mechanics, it is paired with it. Together the Shadow Army that you can control. I had a blast. I had a blast with Igris first fight and even had to try it multiple times. Same goes for Essel. She was way more challenging than in the Gacha game. And by the way, and that also is a very big plus for me, Essel is still as cute as she gets. Really nice. I love it. There is so that's also my next plus. There's a challenging boss design, and the way up to Baran was quite nice, especially in the end when there was no more checkpoints, and when you know the game story-wise the canon is not ending here, but the game so far is, so you can say, okay, this really feels kind of rewarding here. Biggest plus, no microtransactions. I just said that, so there's no microtransactions as of yet. No gacha, no pay to win. You buy the game once and that's it. The game costs 40 bucks, which is amazing when I think about the actual playtime I already have, and I am going to put in way more hours than that. Really glad they made this game so I don't have to deal with the insufferable gacha system anymore, and especially the pay to win mechanics. So yeah, really don't like these elements in modern games. There is also a ton of earnable cosmetics for all the hunters, for Jino himself, that you can unlock by playing. Really loving this. Feels like a full experience here. It is lore accurate. The shadows and the focused roster is another plus for me. So no Baruka as a shadow or whatever they made up in the gacha game. It is not here. Most hunters are straight from the story, with only Mirai here, I think. I need to look into that, so I'm sorry if I'm mistaken here, but I cannot remember seeing Mirai in the canon somewhere. The extra play modes and replayability. So there's extra play modes. After finishing the main story, you can get into the hunter archives, the time mode with leaderboards, and not just again. I only forgot. I forgot you have Workshop of Light is in here as well. So a lot more you can do after you finish the story. It's really nice. Enjoy that. And now comes one of the biggest controversial points here. The good grind. If you enjoy this leveling, if you like grinding and feeling your character grow stronger, and the game actually manages to do that. With the grind, you procedurally get stronger and stronger and get higher in the content. It's not too slow, and it's not too fast that you get bored or you get up to god level like 2 hours in. The pace so far for me personally was nice, and I'm someone who has something that's called a day job, so really nice. And of course, co-op of friends is amazing, well, when it works. Running raids together, helping out newer players, watching everybody's builds run riot, and you can really get chaotic here when there's 4 players in a lobby and shadows and everything is smashing and blinking and blitzing on the enemy. It's pretty nice. I like it. And yeah, that's about it. Final recommendation, the verdict. Would I recommend solo leveling Rise Overdrive? Yes, I highly recommend the game. It is an awesome pick. For just around the 40 bucks, no microtransactions, very faithful adaptation of the story, and the combat system is smooth, challenging and fun, especially if you enjoy grinding and leveling up. If you hate the grind and don't care about solo leveling at all, you might have a very hard time enjoying this. But if you do like the source material and you enjoy these kind of action RPGs with the progression and even co-op elements, this game honestly is a great time. I'm really glad they made this game so I don't have to deal with the insufferable gacha system anymore. And yeah, did you guys like the review? Let me know in the comments. Do you like the game? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you guys are interested, if you want to see the builds and all kind of that stuff, just tell me as well, and I'll see to it as soon as I have the time to actually, craft something for you guys. So, I'm done here. Then I would say, till then, you guys, of course, as always, stay safe, take care, and see you next time. Ciao, ciao.